ASMR channel for a new Genshin Impact bedtime story. Today we are going to be talking, or rather reading, a book that has been very popular lately, I think. I've seen it here and there. A lot of people are talking or were talking about it because apparently it might be related to like Ganria's story and everything. To the best of my ability, I will try to cover both volumes today. We'll see how that sounds, but I hope most of all it sounds relaxing for you guys. Let's get started. Perinheri, Volume 1. This is a story from very ancient times indeed. It is said that in those days, birds had not yet split into the mystic and wild kindreds. In those days, a crimson moon shone down upon the subterranean realm and not the dark sun of latter days. Due to the kingdom's unique position, things from outside this world were always leaking into it. The kingdom's weapons would wipe out the calamities slipping in, but what of all the other objects? Such as, say, a child who may have come from some destroyed world. One of the sages spoke thusly to the great ruler. "O High Lord of the nobles, a child once told me a tale of another world. Once upon a time, there were sea people who believed that the gods came from the sea. Each time they discovered a shipwrecked person, they would treat them with the utmost honor, for they believed that the gods would take the form of the shipwrecked to investigate the mortal realm." The ruler replied, "I do not perceive your meaning, so do as you please." Naturally, no oceans in the traditional sense lay within the kingdom's borders. The earliest founders of the kingdom had once seen the majestic silhouettes of the mountains blur under the sun's searing glare, and the rippling reflections of the moonlight falling upon the sea's surface like a scattering of pearls. But at the time the story took place, only outsiders and those few who had left the kingdom on official duties and returned could describe such sights to the ruler. The ocean and the sea were often used as a metaphor for the space projected by the stars. In anticipation of the arrival at their kingdom of gods from beyond the so-called ocean, or rather the arrival of beings who could transcend the gods, they founded an organization, an orphanage to take care of such children. In latter days, the orphans of the kingdom and those who wandered in from outside were accepted as well. The young Perinheri's first memory was that of being asked by the grown-ups to crawl through a dark corridor. This passage might have been a chimney for winter fires, for it was filled with coal ash, and there was not a single crack in it through which smoke or light could pass through. As he crawled, he would sometimes stumble in the pitch-black darkness. Fortunately, the corridor appeared designed for the passage of children in the first place, so the falls were not very painful. It also lacked any annoying cobwebs. When Perinheri reached the end at last, the exit had not opened yet. He knocked, only for the grown-ups to coldly ask, "Are he to reply if he was dead, but the grown-ups did not like this response. They kept asking the same question until he at least shouted, "Yes, I am dead." The adults then asked, "Did you see it then?" Perhaps it was the fear brought on by the darkness combined with hunger and exhaustion, but Perinheri did indeed see an illusion. The crimson moon, hanging high in the pitch-dark night sky, suddenly turned around, revealing itself to be a titanic, horrified eye. The adults opened the door and embraced the suit-covered Perinheri. "You have traversed the fire of two worlds within the hearth, and here you are reborn." Though the crimson moon set and the dark sun descended into yet darker dusk, that transcendental person from beyond who the kingdom orphanage was awaiting never arrived. But unusual individuals they had aplenty, and many of those who strode forth from the gates of that orphanage became great knights of the kingdom. Perinheri was in his time the leading figure amongst their ranks. That is, unless he were forced to compete with his best friend, Leobrand. They should have competed for glory and decided who was superior through the amount of honors they crowned themselves in, and in the number of goblets of fine wine down during the festivities afterward. But for some reason, their rivalry would take a mortal turn. That day, the orphanage welcomed a new member. She was a beautiful young lady from a foreign land who claimed to be a noble princess. Her nation had been defeated by Deus Auri, and yet the daughter of a priestly line she remained and would not submit to the new god, and so she had drifted, wandering through the gates of their kingdom. She called herself Angelica, meaning one who is as a divine emissary. Fair Angelica declared that she would only marry the mightiest knight in all the kingdom. Perinheri cared not a whit, but Leobrand was smitten with her. Angelica would often take walks near the Sea of Wells, and there she spoke much of the outside world to Leobrand. Perinheri would come along out of concern for his friend, and because suspicion was born in him sooner than curiosity, he would doubt her every word, yet wished that he might see these things one day. Angelica's arrival changed Leobrand altogether. He would cause trouble, looking for any provocation upon which to stake a duel against other knights. He would win all these bouts and turn to Angelica to show off his prowess. Yet all she ever gave him was a cool smile, for what great feat was it for a great runner if they raised the turquoise and triumphed. Njord, who walks with the dark sprites, Af, the greatest warrior in the Universitas Magistrorum, Alberic, commander of half the knights, and Perinheri, the undefeated. Angelica spoke thus of the mightiest figures in the kingdom as she saw them. Having fallen head over heels into the throes of love, Leobrand came to what was an all too reasonable conclusion for himself. People might call him a traitor or believe him mad, but even so, he had no wish to hurt Perinheri. As for Perinheri, he believed that his best friend's madness would be cured if only he could kill Angelica. In the midst of that most merciless of pursuits, the three left the kingdom's borders. At that very moment, Liabrand clutched his face, and the words escaping his mouth gradually grew more like the howling of a wild beast. The witch, Angelica, explained thus. Liabrand is the descendant of those who forsook their god and came to the kingdom. This is why the kingdom's obstinately pure-blooded aristocracy persists. This is the price of betraying your own god. As for you, Perinheri, you are one who drifted there. Thus, you bear no such curse. You may not have the nobility to shoulder a world, but you too have your own destiny. And as for me, I betrayed no one, not for a moment until my god died. So I too bear this curse not. But you now see who I truly am, yes? The sun rose over the horizon at that moment, and Perinheri's blade slipped from his fingers, exhausted from the night-long battle. Covering his forehead with the back of his hand, he looked upon the sun for the first time. And when he glanced back at Angelica, he saw that she was neither a beautiful woman from Liyue nor a wicked witch. I am freedom, that which has broken free of fate. This is what Liabrand sought in agony, that which is now yours for the taking. There was nothing before Perinheri, only vast, empty land. There are a few notes here, 2 of them actually, so let me read those to you. The first one says, note that the ancient people of Liyue did not use such names as Angelica. Now that I consider it, her name may have been Lady Miaoyan, which means Lady of Wondrous Sounds, or Tianwang Nu, servant of Tianwang. The second note says, the Black Wolves of the first edition, and they're talking here about the dark sprites that were mentioned earlier, so they would be the Black Wolves of the first edition. Archaeological work on Canria indicates that this must have been a type of war beast created using alchemy. Alchemy and the Beast Master Knights were a mainstay during the Crimson Moon Dynasty, but interest in mechanical engineering during the Eclipse Dynasty would cause it to fall behind. Alright, I don't know about you guys, but this was so intriguing to read. I had not read the book before recording this, so I went into this blind. What I thought was initially going to be about Canria seems to be both about Canria but also about Arlecchino somehow. Am I mistaken? Like, they're talking about an orphanage and how, like, this quote-unquote kingdom used to take in, like, children and stuff. And I can't help but wonder, like, is this story taking place in, like, Canria, like old Canria? And, like, after Canria was destroyed, someone, and it leads me to ask who might this someone be, but like someone kind of like recreated, refounded the orphanage, but in Fontaine, like the House of the Hearth. I don't know, am I tripping? Because I feel like this is exactly like, yeah, I feel like, and you know what, if so, like, let's say, I'm trying to like organize my thoughts here, but let's say someone did refound the orphanage why did they do it in Fontaine? And why? I don't know, I might be missing some parts because reading this today, I have yet to complete Arlecchino or even started Arlecchino story quest, but I might be missing some parts. But you guys, like, why recreate the orphanage in Fontaine? Why not elsewhere? And also, why put harbingers or like people from Snezhnaya in charge of the orphanage? I'm really confused. I feel like I'm missing like some parts, or I'm not understanding something, but it's all, everything that I read today, it's all leading me to think that, yeah, I don't know, I'm very, very intrigued is all I can say after reading Perinheri's story. I hope you guys enjoyed this bedtime story. Very curious to like read what you guys thought about it. So if you wanna let me know in the comment section, go wild, be my guest. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you relax. It is now time for me to wish you good night, or good nap, or if you're using ASMR to try and focus on a task or a chore, or even some schoolwork that you're trying to complete, well, good luck with that. I will see you again very, very soon.